Chirping Mermaid. Today I'm going to teach you how to play Monopoly Deal. I'll try to be as comprehensive but as brief as possible. Monopoly Deal is a fun card game based on the popular board game but much shorter. It's for ages 8 and up and 2 to 5 players. Although if you want to play with 6 or more players, you can just shuffle 2 decks together and play as usual. And depending on the number of players, it averages about 15 minutes per game. In order to win, you must collect 3 full property sets of different colors. Setting up is easy. Just shuffle the cards and deal 5 to each player, and place the rest of the deck face down in the center to use as a draw pile. You could also give each player a quick start rules card. Then decide who goes first. For subsequent games, I like to pick the player who won last to go first. At the start of your turn, draw 2 cards from the draw pile, unless later on the game, if you have no cards, then draw 5 instead of 2. Then you can make up to 3 moves. I'll talk about what counts as a move later. You don't actually have to make any moves if you don't want to, but be careful. At the end of your turn, you have to check your hand, because you can't have more than 7 cards in your hand by the end of your turn. If you do, you'll have to discard the extras to the bottom of the draw pile. Players then continue to play in clockwise order. So, what is considered a move? A move is placing any card either onto the table in front of you, such as money or property, or using an action card and playing it into the discard pile. There are 3 types of moves possible, and you can play them in any order or repeat the same type of move. So here they are: placing a property, putting money into your bank, playing an action card into the discard pile. So an example of a turn with 3 moves could be: once a card is played out onto the table, it never goes back into your hand. So now let's go over the types of cards. There are 3 types of cards: property, money, and action cards. Let's first go over property cards. There are regular property cards and property wild cards. Each property card will show you how many cards it takes to complete a full set. Some properties require as little as 2 cards to complete a set. Most sets require 3. And railroad requires 4 cards to complete the set. Remember, the goal of the game is to collect 3 full property sets. Property wild cards give you the option of using one side or the other, so they tend to be more valuable. And the rainbow property wild card is the best of them all because it can be added to any color set and act as an additional card in that set. Each card will also have a number in the corner indicating how much it's worth. So if you need to pay someone, you can also pay them with property. The rainbow property wild card is the only card in the deck that does not have a monetary value. So if that's the only thing you have on the table and you owe money, you don't have to pay anything. So now on to money cards. The denominations come in 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, and 10 million. If you owe money, you must pay out from what's in front of you on the table, not from your hand. And no change is given.
That's right. So if you don't have exact change, then you're out of luck.
So sad. But if you don't have any cards in front of you to pay with, then you don't have to pay at all. Debts must be paid after every move. You can't lump all your debts together to avoid paying extra. Play smart. The order of your moves can help you maximize what you get. Is the bank private or public information? I personally play with the bank as public information so all players can see what you have as implied by the rulebook. However, if you want to add an extra element of strategy, you can keep your bank piles stacked on top of each other with only the top card shown. Lastly, action cards. Each action card is labeled action card, and they're always played into the discard pile when used. They help you do a variety of things like collect rent or steal property, so let's go over the different types of action cards. First, rent cards. Rent cards help you collect rent from other players. The color on the rent card must match the color of your property, and the number of cards you have in that set will tell you how much rent you can collect. Double the rent cards must be played with the rent card and counts as a move. The debt collector card lets you pick one player to collect 5 million from. It's my birthday! All players pay you 2 million. Force steal lets you swap any one of your properties for another of someone else's properties, but only if it's not a part of a full set. Slide deals are even better than force deals because you don't have to give anything up. You get to steal a property from someone else. But again, only if it's not a part of a full set. The deal breaker. Deal breakers are probably the most powerful of the action cards because it lets you steal a full set, but only if it's a completed set. How's Houses and hotels help you collect more money on a property set when you use rent cards. Add 3 million more to the rent for houses and 4 million on top of that for hotels. Houses and hotels can only be added to a completed set and cannot be added to railroad or utility sets. And just like the game of Monopoly, you can only place a hotel when you already have a house in place. Just like the board game, there's a pass go, but instead of picking up money, you pick up 2 cards. But try not to pick up too many of these because remember, you can only have at most 7 cards in your hand by the end of your turn. Just say no. This card lets you just say no. This is the only card in the deck that does not count as a move. So even if you're out of moves or it's not your turn and a player's attacking you, you can still play your just say no card. And you can just say no to a just say no. What? Lastly, each action card has a monetary value and can be converted into money. So if you're desperate for money, you can turn it into money by playing it into your bank. But once an action card has been converted into money, it stays as money and can never be used as an action again. So if you use it to pay someone else, it goes straight into their bank as well. Property cards, however, always stay as property and never goes into the bank. If the draw pile runs out of cards, just shuffle the discard pile to use as your new draw pile and play until there's a winner. The game ends when a player has collected 3 full property sets of different colors. Hope you liked my video. If you have any more questions about the game, please comment below and be sure to subscribe and like my videos.